Hello and welcome to another inspiring episode of Pairfect, the show where purpose meets passion and change makers share the stories behind their impact. I'm Dinah Ventura.
And I'm Fernando. Today we're stepping into the vibrant world of arts, education, and cultural heritage through the eyes of a visionary who's reshaping how we preserve and present Filipino identity.
He's not just an architect, he's a curator, educator, and the creative force behind the Benilde Fashion Museum and the Center for Campus Art at Salle-College of St. Benilde. For over 2 decades, he's been transforming campuses into galleries and garments into gateways of history.
From honoring national artists like Ramon Valera and Ben Farales to creating world-class spaces that celebrate Filipino fashion, his work bridges design, memory, and meaning.
Let's give a warm, perfect welcome to the man bringing culture to the classroom and couture to the museum, Gerry Torres.
Thank you.
Welcome
Thank you for the warm introduction.
Welcome, sir.
Grabe yung niya, no? Mga nagawa na sa buhay.
So let's start. Ang daming gustong itanong sa inyo.
Okay.
You've been called a curator of culture and an architect of meaning. What first drew you to the intersection of design, heritage, and education?
By profession, I'm an architect. And then, for some circumstance of fate, I ended up teaching in Benilde. So the education part was there. And I liked it. Initially, I did not want to teach because I said the last thing I want to do is to go back to school. And I remember it took me 6 months to go for an interview. And when I did, I was hired on the spot. And I was assigned to be chairperson of 3 programs. So that part sealed the deal for me when it comes to education. The culture part came later. I also became the dean of the School of Design and Arts. So, but eventually, after I stepped down as dean, I became the director for the Center for Campus Art, which was an office that did not exist, but because there was a need for one, we thought that it's about time that an office will regularly put up exhibits in the campuses, especially because the biggest school of Benilde is a School of Design and Arts. So I guess that's how
showcase.
We need to showcase, and we also wanted to showcase the works of our students.
Okay, so you've been director for how many years now?
10 years. I was director for CCA, or Center for Campus Art. I ended September, technically.
Okay. So that's no longer under your
No, because I was transferred to head the Benilde Fashion Museum.
Okay, so
yeah.
how do you then balance preservation and innovation with the kind of work that you've been doing?
The preservation part is something that I'm slowly getting into, because before it was not really part of the Center for Campus Arts agenda. But the innovation's always been there. The 2 buzzwords of Benilde is innovation and innovation is one of the 2 buzzwords of Benilde. So we've really been trained to, think out of the box.
Always think out of the box.
Think out of the box. And so in the exhibits that I did for the Center for Campus Art, I was always pushing the envelopes in what we could show. I was not really showing visual arts. I resisted to showing paintings because I thought that there were many galleries already that was doing that. I focused into design shows because I thought that was an area that was
largely untapped.
Industrial design, furniture design, architecture, interior, fashion.
Nakailang ka nun, shows?
I did about 26 major shows.
Wow,
and
the 10
then
years.
Because I also developed other galleries aside from the main gallery that we have, maybe about another 50 shows.
Prolific. So many ideas. That's all your idea, or just like you talk about it, you come up with something na kailangan itong ma-show.
I see exhibits as potentials for learning. It has potential for learning, and for me as a school, the learning does not stop in the classroom. You know, it can go beyond. So,
Dapat naman. Diba?
Yeah.
That's real life.
So follow up ko dyan. You've curated exhibits honoring national artists like Ramon Valera and Ben Ferrales.
Wow.
What's the power of fashion in telling our collective Filipino story?
You know, fashion is a reflection of the times. It's a reflection of Philippine society. And one dress can already tell you the story of how we were back then, our economic situation, where they were worn, and why these events were put up. So it really is a manifestation of what we were as a people and as a nation. And in the case of Valera, he designed from the 40s down to about the 70s. So it was a time when the country was very prosperous. We were very confident as a nation. And we wanted to, it was post-war.
Wow.
We wanted to put our best foot forward and join the League of Nations. We just had our
Yeah.
independence.
Ganda nun.
And Valera was able to lead that through the national dress that women in the 40s and 50s, Filipinas, wore proudly. So that was really the role of fashion. It's a mirror.
Yes.
It's a mirror of society.
I really think so, no? Ngayon nga parang there's also, like if you look around now, that's another museum, another exhibit for you to create, to tell the story of today's fashion. So now that you're going to be heading the fashion museum, what are you looking forward to most about it? What excites you most about that?
To begin with, it's the only museum of its kind in the country. We don't have a fashion museum.
Yeah, ang galing, no? Naisip nila.
And so I'm happy that Benilde decided to invest in one. One of the primary reasons is because we have a very strong fashion design program.
Yes.
So that was one of the reasons why we wanted to put up this museum. The other reason was because of the family of Ben Ferrales, who in 2021, after he passed away, decided to donate to us the collection of their uncle. We now have the biggest collection of Ben Ferrales clothes, about 350 garments. And so I think our president was probably thinking, what are we going to do with these donations? We can't just put them in a room.
Or a warehouse.
In a warehouse. So Brother Dodo Fernandez, our president, decided to let's put up a museum so that it can be properly stored, properly taken care of. And then, but what's also exciting for me is sharing it to the public.
Yes,
because they're so beautiful. Their creations is really exquisite.
So you decide what goes inside that museum, I suppose. Ano ang priorities nyo?
We are at the present trying to put up our policy manual.
Okay.
But the collection, we hope to be able to complete the collection because the sad part of our fashion designers, and this happened to Mang Ben and also to other designers that I am aware of, when they pass away, most of them are single, they don't have children. The family would not know what to do, or maybe some of them are not interested in keeping the clothes. And a lot of the designers, when they pass away, their clothes disappear. And maybe they throw them away, they give them away.
Give them or
and
throw them.
And they're beautiful, especially if
the
you're
craftsmanship.
the design, the craftsmanship. And so because of that gift, we decided to put up this museum and preserve the legacy of our fashion designers before they disappear.
So who are the designers in your possession right now?
So we have Ben Ferrales, we have Pitoy Moreno, we have national artist Ramon Valera, national artist Salvacion Lim Higgins.
Of course.
We have Oreo Alonso. We have a big collection of Cesar Gaupo. Amazing works.
Ganda.
And then a few. We still have a lot of gaps to fill in because I really hope to have a survey of Filipino fashion designers and a representative garment.
So, ang laki siguro ng museum nyo.
Ang dami.
Like, I can't imagine it right now.
We have at the moment about 500 garments in our collection. So we take care of them. We put them in acid-free boxes. We also have acid-free paper. There's a technique of keeping heritage clothes. And it's in a a 24/7 air-conditioned room, so that it's temperature controlled. We also try to keep it as sterile as possible.
That's a
because
good
it has to be
tip for
preserved.
people who are holding on to, di ba, mga clothes in their houses.
I have a
How
lot
do you
of
keep it?
we also have a lot of donors who decided to give us a collection, because some of the older ones have downsized. They have big houses, and they transfer to condos, and they would tell me, we don't have space for the clothes,
For the gowns.
for the
Yes.
gowns already. But you're right. If I can teach them
Yeah.
that, okay, if you're not going to give it to the museum,
At
can
least
I teach you how to
Yeah.
them
That's-
so that it will not disintegrate?
Oo, sayang eh.
That's true, that's
Di ba yung mga
true.
tela, di ba, nagdi-discolor sila, or the beads.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-mm.
I've had clothes
Nakakaiyak.
that when you pick them up, some of them
Nalalaglag na.
nalalaglag na.
Lalo ni weather dito sa atin, di ba, sir? Okay. Sir, you've once said that learning happens everywhere. How do you bring that idea to life through exhibitions and gallery spaces?
When I was dean, I remembered it was very difficult for us to encourage students to go to galleries and museums. Parang only if you threaten them with absences,
Yes,
or you minus the the subtraction in the grades, or you entice them by giving plus grades. And I'm thinking, if you're a designer or an artist, you have to consider museums and galleries as sources of learning,
Yes.
and for to improve your craft. So we decided, oh sige, if you don't want to go to the museum will go to you. So we created this gallery, and I like the gallery that I was running for 10 years, about 150 square meters. It's right next to the cafeteria.
Okay.
So before they eat,
Makita na.
hopefully they will go through the gallery.
Did it work?
I think so. I'd like to
Okay.
think so. So for me also, the galleries that I put up are extensions of the classrooms.
Yeah.
So. And so you go through a corridor, you turn a corner, and there's an exhibit here, there's an installation here, and I try to keep it as professional as possible. There's always the correct information and
Yeah,
captions.
importante yun.
Yeah, so I hope that the students liked it,
Yeah.
what I did.
Okay, so I will talk some more about your upcoming venture after a short break.
Okay.
This break is brought to you by Meralco, ang liwanag ng bukas. SM, we've got it all for you. Union Bank, it starts with you.
Usapang OFW is the show that honors the journeys of our modern-day heroes, our OFWs. Join Chingmi Fernandez, John Dodson, and Rafi Ayang every Tuesday and Thursday at 3 p.m. to hear the real stories behind the sacrifices. Watch it live on Daily Tribun's Facebook page, Tribune Now on YouTube, and Daily Tribune Official on TikTok.
Want to hear from thought leaders shaping our world? Straight Talk with Chito Lazada and Ted Montalibano dives into leadership, politics, and business every Wednesday at 10 a.m. Catch conversation live on Daily Tribune's Facebook page, Tribune Now on YouTube, and Daily Tribune Official on TikTok.
Ready for the hot takes of today's biggest issues? Hot Patatas with Vernon Velasco and Carl Magadia delivers the news that matters. Every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 3 p.m. Tune in live on Daily Tribune's Facebook page, Tribune Now on YouTube, and Daily Tribune Official on TikTok, where the real talk happens.
We're back on Pairfect. We're still talking about Fashion Museum,
Yes.
the first ever in the Philippines. Upcoming.
Upcoming.
So when is it supposed to open?
We're targeting 2026. I won't say which quarter, but we're hoping to open by that time. The building that we have is a 1938 building. I call it the Miracle Building because you know naman what happened in the Taft area during the war. Most of the buildings were leveled, but this one was able to
Galing.
Survive.
survive.
What was it before?
It used to be an apartment owned by the former Vice President Fernando Lopez, and so it was a 4-story apartment building. And but through the years, it went through so many owners, including Instituto Cervantes, I think the Spanish Embassy, I think some U.S. companies also were there. But in 2010, Benilde purchased it because it's right next to the Benilde main building. So we purchased it, and then I was told that okay, you're gonna be there in that museum. I like it because it's a heritage building. It's Art Deco in style.
Ang ganda naman.
And so
Tapos pagpasok mo, parang you're lost in another world.
that's what I want.
Through clues.
That's what I want to
Wow.
happen. That you'll be brought back to time, because a lot of our collection would be mid-century, so 40s, 50s. So I think it's going to be appropriate for the building.
Ganda, no? Very, picturesque. Pero I'm very interested in your journey kasi from architecture to education to curation and now fashion. So your career has spanned so many creative fields. What has each one taught you about storytelling and impact?
Well, okay, as an architect, I think you can tell a story through a building. You can tell a story about how you design spaces, because architecture is not just about structure, it's about emotions and feelings, because eventually it will be used by you. So when I design buildings, I'm always imagining how would a person feel when you go inside a particular building. Then when I went into education, I sort of found myself there and I liked it, and it didn't feel like a job. And so I
that's
became,
important.
yeah, I like working with young people, and I realized early on how talented Filipinos are. And for me, if you ask me what my evidence would be, I would answer it would be the first year, the freshmen who would come every year, because I'd see them raw and a bit unsure of themselves, but in the next 3 years,
Kita mo yung growth.
I could see they're amazing, and we have a lot of amazing graduates from the school, from all fields. I also like the environment in Benilde because it allowed us to be experimental and innovative and make mistakes.
Learn from mistakes.
And learn from our mistakes. So that was also a big thing. Then eventually, when I became dean, I told myself, Benilde needs a school of architecture, because it's only when you have an architecture program that you will get the respect of the other design schools. So I put up under my deanship the architecture program, which is very successful. It's the second most subscribed program in the school. We already have board top-notchers, and so I'm very happy about that. Then I went back to teaching for 5 years. I went back to the classroom. I taught one of my favorite subjects, which is history of architecture.
Ay, nice. Kukwento ko lang dun.
Yes, so history. I was telling story is the second part of the word. Then the Center for Campus Art happened, and I found that I also like curating. Although before that, I already spent some time at the Metropolitan Museum of Manila. I became the director for a short period of the Met.
Okay.
And then, so that sort of gave me an introduction of curating exhibits. And so when I did that for the next 10 years, again, I enjoyed it so much. It didn't feel like a job, and I was always excited to go to work and think of my next project. I think very important also is trust. If the institution trusts you enough to let you do, then you sort of flower. Yeah, but I'm always thinking like an educator, because there's so much to teach, and we have so many students, whether they're professional students or the regular students.
So parang for you, the story just continues, like teaching. It's
story
really all at the core of it is you just want to teach. You just want to share the stories of our time.
Teach, because we'll never run out of young people to teach. We're young. Our demographic is very young.
More than
60%.
60 na ba?
The youth vote. So I'm looking forward to this next chapter of my journey.
Sir, the museum is also a working lab for students. How important is it for young creatives to engage directly with heritage, especially in a digital-first world?
It's so interesting. Recently, because I told the fashion design program, I said, the museum, even if it's not put up yet, but the museum kasi is already in place. It's just that the building has not been renovated. And I said, let's work together. If you have any ideas, if you want to use the collection that we have, you just tell me, because by all means, I'm going to show it to you. So we've had so many sessions with the young first years, sophomores, and I show them the gowns. And they're so amazed at first, because a lot of our students are very Western oriented. They have very little knowledge about Philippine fashion history. But when you show them the gowns, they're so amazed that that's done by a Filipino, done by Farales in 1960. You know, and they
can't believe it.
They can't believe it. They can't believe their eyes. And some of the designers, especially the very good ones, they have certain techniques of how to drape, and you have it's like architecture.
And talk.
I see fashion like architecture because there's structure. There's also techniques of how to form shapes through textile. And the students, because they're so used to the digital, they're so amazed when it's actual artifacts. And so I've been getting feedback from those students who saw the actual artifacts, and because we let them examine the clothes. Also, I also tell them,
artifacts.
you have to wear the gloves, to be careful. But you know, they're so fascinated with that. And so recently I heard that this Philippine fashion history subject of theirs is becoming one of their favorites. And it's because we have actual samples. Because for me, you can't study fashion if you're just looking at photos. It's like architecture. You can't
talaga you can touch it.
because there's fabric and there's, you know, all the other elements that's not
so
visual.
good,
Ang swerte nila.
Ang swerte nila. I always remind them.
Ang swerte nila.
You have to, you're lucky because maybe there are also some schools who have museums, but maybe these museums may not be as open in sharing the collection. Ako, for me, I share it. I also ask them to design like show windows. You choose a garment,
And then,
we teach you how to handle it. You design the environment around it. So meron silang Valentine's, meron silang mga wedding, meron silang Alice in Wonderland.
opportunities
to create.
Speaking of spaces, di ba? Looking ahead, what's your vision for cultural spaces like the museum in shaping a more inclusive and inspired Philippines?
I think museums really have a role. I wish every town and city will have a museum.
Wala pa.
Because there's a law, I think, but it just hasn't been implemented. Because for me, anything, any topic can be exhibited. You just have to find a way to draw out the elements of that particular theme and then exhibit it. And I mean, in the case of the Fashion Museum, when you see an actual dress that's beautifully designed by a Filipino, then of course you have to, you also reflect that, wow, ang galing pala natin. Marami palang magagaling na Pilipino. So eventually, hopefully, it will strengthen our, you know, how we see ourselves as a people.
Confidence as a people.
Confidence as a people, that we are also world class. Because the mid-century designers were really world-class. They were exhibited in Europe, in the Middle East, in America.
Nasa ganyang level din ba tayo, yung like the works of Filipino designers?
Yes.
Yung galing, yung ganda.
I think so. Yeah. We just need to be constantly educated and to be updated. But we're there because I've seen the evidence of the past designers and because my background is really architecture. I'm not into fashion. I'm not a fashion designer. Yes, I do smaller projects when I can, you know, insert it in my schedule. But yeah, these clothes are really testament of our creativity. We're really a creative people, and so that's manifestation of that creativity that we need to show.
Parang na-imagine ko siya in the classroom. Parang gusto ko maging student.
Ang sarap makinig.
So, I talk too much.
Sir, may follow-up ako. Kasi since karamihan sa mga Filipinos ngayon nasa social media, and yung mga nasa faraway provinces or wala sa Philippines, may kasama ba sa plan yung ano, yung parang naging digital yung museum, nakapost sa website, ito ang laman? Ganyan.
Eventually, because we're digitizing the collection now. I mean, not just the clothes, but the archives.
Okay.
the plan is eventually we'll have a website that will have all of those archives and also the collection. And perhaps maybe we can charge a small fee to be able to access the collection, so that there's income also for the museum. But me, I really want to share whatever we have in the museum, because why will we keep them? You know, why will we gatekeep? I'm very open with sharing.
It's knowledge,
and it's and I also even want that down the line, if we're already more established, we can even be a model for other fashion museums in, let's say, in Visayas and in Mindanao. You can put up your own. I mean, hopefully, we'll reach a point where we can guide them also.
So dami nang pwede talaga sa fashion pa lang talaga, di ba? You can, like the fabrics, not just the designers, di ba? The textile makers, di ba? Many bordering on culture na.
I also remind my students, when you look at a dress, at a beautiful dress, don't just think of the designer, but think also of the people behind them. Bordadera, the one who does the beading, because the beading, especially of Ramon Valera, when you see it, and you realize that this was done in 1960 when there was no digital anything. It was all by hand, but it's so precise. You know, the dimensions, and I'm like, who did all of this?
Incredible.
So it's amazing, the details of and it's also a reflection of the craftsmanship of the Filipino.
I'm really excited to see this museum. How will you fit all those clothes in there?
Oo nga. Gaano kalaki yung museum, sir?
Hindi masyado.
Gaano kalaki yung yung storage area?
Hindi masyado, but I remember, because we have a board of advisors, and when we started meeting, a lot of them were always reminding me, Gerry, careful, because you might run out of spaces. Because although at this point, when we're just starting, I want to say, okay, let's just get everything first. Bahala na later on what we're going to do. Benilde naman is willing to put up an off-site storage space that is also within the vicinity, because we have certain properties also around that area. So we can eventually have that.
Because I was gonna ask, will it be like a permanent? Which one will be permanent? Which one will be temporary? Di ba yung mga i-move nyo?
Yeah, eventually. When museums also, they de-accession, depending on the need, because it's always the problem of museums is really storage.
Yes,
always.
I can imagine.
But, sige, bahala na.
May specific special conditions.
So may suggestion akong collab sa inyo.
Yes.
Yung mga sir, yung mga beauty queens, yung mga sinuot nilang national costumes, mga sinuot nilang evening gowns sa mga national pageants, pwede sa inyo yun.
Yeah.
And even iconic gowns or wedding gowns ng mga celebrities.
Yes.
Diba?
Although at this point, we had to create a framework for the museum, because otherwise it will go in many directions. So at this point, ang sabi namin is modern. Okay, which would be 20th century. So 1900 to the present, which means that 1890s, wag na muna, because there are other museums that have those already. What we lack would be the 20th century garments. Kasi parang we did not mind them. We always looked at the Maria Claras, the 19th century costumes, but the 20th century costumes are equally important. So we're going to go into that first, and then ladies muna. Ladies wear.
Grabe, no?
Muna. And then,
men's naman.
Eventually, we will go also into celebrities. Although, there was an exhibit on Pitoy Moreno a month ago. It just closed I think a week ago.
Yeah.
And one of the artifacts there was the national costume of Charlene Gonzalez for Miss Universe. 1994. And that was because it was designed by Pitoy.
Yes.
So it was kept. So it was exhibited also. But yeah, the gown of Catriona Gray is designed by a Benildian. So I'm gonna look for Mac Tumang.
Mac Tumang.
I'm gonna look for you, because you used to be our
Mac.
student.
Anyway, it's been such a fun conversation with you, getting to know what's new with Benilde and the Fashion Museum. So, thank you for spending time with us.
Thank you too. Thank you for giving me a chance to share what we are
Yeah.
doing in Benilde.
So, are there any words you'd like to say to our viewers before we say our temporary goodbyes?
I guess to just watch out. It is going to be a fashion museum, and we are hoping to do this properly. And I am looking forward to welcoming the public into our premises, and share also the collection, not just to our students, but also to all Filipinos.
Yes.
Yes.
And because we are quite proud at the artifacts that we have in the collection.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Daming stories.
Ang dami pa.
So much to learn.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you too.
Big thanks to Gerry Torres for sharing his visionary journey as an architect, educator, and cultural curator. His work reminds us of that art, heritage, and learning can come together to shape deeper meaning in our lives.
Whether you're designing spaces, preserving culture, or just finding new ways to express who you are, Gerry's story shows us that creativity with purpose can leave a lasting legacy.
This has been Jeff Fernando,
And I'm Dinah Ventura, and you've been watching Pairfect.
where stories and purpose meet everyday lifestyle. See you next time.
Magandang araw po sa inyong lahat mga katribo at sa mga taga-subaybay natin sa Daily Tribune. Nandito po ulit ang inyong lingkod. Ako po si Manong Joe Saldariaga para sagutin ang inyong mga katanungan. May tanong ang isang netizen sa atin, Manong Joe, sinasadya ba ng Meralco na pababain ang presyo ng kuryente tuwing tag-ulan at malamig ang panahon? Napakagandang tanong, pero ang sagot ko po dyan ay hindi po ito sinasadya ng Meralco. Ang paniwanag po dyan ay simple lang. Ang cooling appliances tulad ng aircon, electric fan at refrigerator ay madalas may pinakamalaking contribution sa monthly bill po natin sa bahay. Kapag tag-ulan, mas malamig ang panahon. Mas madali para sa mga cooling appliances na maabot at panatilihin ang sinet nating temperature dahil malamig na rin ang paligid. Nababawasan din ang oras ng paggamit natin, lalo ng aircon. Minsan, hindi na kailangan buksan ang aircon natin dahil electric fan lang, sapat na at komportable na tayo. Ang resulta, mas mababang konsumo ninyo sa kuryente sa inyong bahay, mas bababa ang inyong electricity bill. Ngayon, kapag mas mababa na nga ang konsumo, bumababa din ang overall demand sa power supply. At kapag mababa ang demand, may posibilidad na bumaba na rin ang generation charge, ang pinakamalaking bahagi sa bill ninyo na may malaking epekto sa buong presyo ng kuryente. Kaya kung mapapansin ninyo, sa mga buwang malamig at maulan, madalas bumababa ang inyong power bill. Hindi dahil sinasadya, kundi dahil sa natural na pagbaba ng inyong konsumo at gayon din ang demand. Patunay dito ang naging paggalaw ng presyo ng kuryente ngayong buwan. Ngayong Hunyo, sa ikalawang sunod na buwan ay bumaba ang rate ng Meralco, halos 11 centavos ang decrease sa presyo ng kuryente dahil sa tapyas ng generation charge. Sana ay naliwanagan ko po kayo sa aking explanation na ito kung bakit mas mababa ang inyong electricity bill tuwing tag-ulan o rainy season. Para sa iba pang mga katanungang Ask Manong Joe uli, hanggang sa muli mga katribo at sa mga taga-sunod natin sa Daily Tribune.